A terrible story from the hotel. You know, hotels are supposed to be our home away from home, a sanctuary after a long day. A place where comfort meets convenience. But what happens when that home becomes a veritable nightmare? So, I've got a story for you today that's equal parts unbelievable and educational. Buckle up, because after this, you might just rethink your next hotel booking. Chapter 1. The Arrival. It all started when I decided to take a spontaneous trip to a small town called Pinecrest Valley. Population: just over 5,000. I'd been swamped with projects and thought a weekend getaway would be the perfect way to recharge. From the outside, the hotel looked, well, let's call it rustic. The architecture was a bizarre blend of 1960s brutalism and attempted Victorian charm. But I thought, hey, maybe it's one of those hidden gems. After all, the hotel industry is known for its surprises, right? Check-in process. The lobby was deserted. No guests, no staff. Just the hum of an old vending machine. When the receptionist finally appeared, she seemed genuinely astonished to have a guest. Not exactly the warm welcome the international hotel front office management standards advocate for. At this point, any seasoned traveler would have sensed the red flags. But me? I was too engrossed in my adventure to notice. Chapter 2. First red flags. The elevator ride. Next up was the elevator, a vintage contraption that looked like it belonged in a museum. As I ascended, the elevator groaned and shuddered. The European lift directive would have had a field day with this one. You could literally hear the pulleys straining. Fun fact: elevators are supposed to undergo safety inspections every 6 months. Judging by this ride, I'd wager this one hadn't seen an inspector in years. Hallway ambiance. The hallway was straight out of a horror movie, a cliché, I know, but entirely accurate. Peeling wallpaper, flickering lights, and a carpet pattern that could induce vertigo. In terms of environmental psychology, the ambiance was doing a fantastic job of increasing my cortisol levels. Not exactly the stress-reducing environment that hotels aim to provide. Chapter 3. The room unveiled. Entering the room. As I opened the door, I was immediately hit by a musty odor, a mix of damp wood and neglect. Indoor air quality? Non-existent. This was a serious violation of the ASHRAE Standard 62.1 guidelines for acceptable indoor air quality. Room inspection. The bed sheets had dubious stains that made me question their laundering protocols. The carpet looked like it hadn't been cleaned since the Reagan administration. According to the CDC, such conditions can be breeding grounds for bacteria and allergens. The bathroom fixtures were corroded, and there was mold in the corners. Now, mold isn't just unsightly, it can cause respiratory issues. OSHA stipulates that employers must ensure environments are free from recognized hazards, clearly not a priority here. Unexpected discoveries. Then I saw it. A cockroach making itself at home on the nightstand. Pest control is a basic expectation, outlined clearly in the hospitality hygiene standards. This was turning into a textbook example of how not to run a hotel. Chapter 4. The complaints begin. Contacting reception. I tried calling reception, but the line was dead. No dial tone, nothing. With telecommunications being a critical component of guest services, especially for emergency situations, this was a significant failure. Trip to the front desk. I headed down to the front desk. The receptionist was nowhere to be found. I waited for 10 minutes, during which time I observed that the lobby lacked basic security measures, a direct violation of PCI DSS compliance, considering credit card data could be at risk. Staff interaction. When someone finally showed up, I explained the issues, the unsanitary conditions, the non-functional phone, the pest infestation. Their response? We're short-staffed, there's nothing we can do right now. A blatant disregard for the service recovery paradox, which suggests that effectively addressing complaints can enhance customer satisfaction. Chapter 5. The Night from Hell. Strange noises. That night, I was jolted awake by bizarre noises, loud thuds, muffled voices, and intermittent banging. It sounded like a mix between a late-night renovation and a wrestling match. Noise control is a critical aspect of hotel operations, impacting the guest's ability to rest. According to studies, excessive noise can reduce sleep efficiency by up to 20%. Not exactly conducive to a restful night. Power outage. Suddenly, the power went out, plunging the room into pitch darkness. I fumbled for my phone to use the flashlight. Emergency power systems are required by the National Electrical Code. Clearly, this place skipped that chapter. Uninvited guest. Then, someone tried to open my door. The handle was rattling violently. I called out, "Who's there?" No answer. I double-checked the lock. Fortunately, it held. But the lack of a functional deadbolt was another security lapse, violating basic safety standards outlined by the Hotel Security Association. Chapter 6. Seeking refuge. Deciding to leave. I'd had enough. Sleep was out of the question, and my safety felt compromised. I decided to check out. Time be damned. According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, safety is foundational, and this place was failing miserably. Confrontation at the front desk. The manager accused me of overreacting and stated their refund policy didn't allow for reimbursements due to noise complaints. I mentioned the multiple health and safety violations, but they were unfazed. Under the Consumer Rights Act, I'm entitled to services carried out with reasonable care and skill. This was neither. Calling for help, I decided to contact the regional health department to report the numerous violations. They took my complaint seriously and assured me they'd investigate. Regulatory bodies like these are in place to enforce compliance with public health standards, so I felt it was my responsibility to report. Chapter 7. Aftermath. Finding a new place. I finally found another hotel, a nationally recognized chain known for its commitment to quality and service. The contrast was stark. From the moment I walked in, the difference in operational excellence was palpable. The new hotel adhered to all the best practices: efficient check-in, clean rooms, and top-notch security. It was a textbook example of the ServQual model in action, excelling in reliability, assurance, tangibles, empathy, and responsiveness. Reflection. This experience taught me the importance of due diligence. I usually research accommodations extensively, but my impulsive decision led me astray. As the saying goes, failing to plan is planning to fail. In the hospitality industry, customer trust is built over time but can be eroded rapidly. Hotels need to consistently meet basic standards to maintain that trust. Lessons learned. So, what are the key takeaways? First, always do your research. Read reviews across multiple platforms like TripAdvisor, Booking.com, and even local forums. Second, pay attention to recurring complaints. If several guests mention cleanliness issues or safety concerns, consider it a big red flag. Have you ever had a hotel experience that left you speechless, for all the wrong reasons? Share your stories in the comments below. Let's learn from each other's adventures, or misadventures. Thanks for tuning in and letting me vent a little. If you found this story insightful, or at least entertaining, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales and tips on navigating the wild world of travel. Credits and acknowledgements. A big shout out to all my viewers and subscribers. You guys are the reason I keep exploring and sharing. Special thanks to Jenna for helping with the video editing and to Mike for the background music. Even in the midst of chaos, it's important to find moments to laugh. Like when I nearly knocked myself out with my own suitcase. Stay safe out there, do your homework before booking, and as always, happy travels. I'll see you in the next video.